Hello PVCA, my name is Caroline Funchion. I'm the Director of Marketing at Pioneer Valley Christian Academy, and I am here with Mr. Richard Pinkos, and he is a parent, former parent, and board member. He is a current board member. So Richard, what originally brought your family to Pioneer Valley Christian Academy?
So my wife was going to a Bible study next door at Evangelical Covenant Church, and she said, well, there's this Christian school next door. So, as our youngest was about to need preschool, we should visit. And so we did. We had a great conversation with Mr. Duff, and that took us off from there, 1 year at a time. And I was kind of thinking, the $600 for a preschool, I didn't know that we'd have to be paying for a preschool, right? If we could, I wasn't contemplating that particular cost. But 1 year after another, until we finished 20 years of active involvement with our children here at the school, and the Lord provided through it all, and is money entirely well spent.
So your children started in preschool?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I did not know that. And how many children do you have?
3.
And could you talk a little bit about their experience here?
So my son, the oldest, when he was in preschool, and my wife came home, and she said the first thing that Matt, our son, said to our daughter Amy as they came to pick up Matt, Amy, you're gonna love it here, they got all good toys, and nice things and so forth. So it was a positive message on that first day, and there have been countless others in the 20 years, as I say, of active involvement with one of our children here and since, as I've been on the board for a period of time.
How did you and Lucy stay committed to Christian education? How did you make it work for your family?
Well, I would say God made it work for our family, and He provided financially, to be sure, and we just took 1 year at a time. And it's not free. Nothing good is free for a long period of time, except of course our salvation. And over time, 1 year after another, we could see that indeed the Lord was providing. So we took it just that way, one step, 1 year at a time, and indeed we did it with the Lord's help.
Speaking of the Lord's help, PVCA being 50 years would not be here today without the Lord's help.
Amen.
And could you talk a little bit about the milestones that you actually saw firsthand?
Whoa, boy, there have been many, to be sure. So we had a board member, Len Van Wingerden, who said, we could have pods set up for our elementary students because we had a increase in enrollment at that level. But he said, we need to do something more long-lasting, more permanent. So phase 1, the elementary wing, great. Phase 2 was, I think it was the technology. Phase 3 was the gym. Phase 4 is yet to be. So indeed, there's a lot of big things that we look at, and we reflect upon what was it like when I was first here and I didn't see any of that, and now to see it, it's fantastic. It is indeed God's blessing, faithfulness to PVCA.
In addition to how God has blessed our school, there's also a certain someone that has also stuck through it for much of the school's history, Mr. Duff, and has been a faithful servant at Pioneer Valley Christian Academy, both he and his wife Laura. What can you say about Mr. Duff's commitment to Pioneer Valley Christian Academy as well as Christian education?
Can't say enough. The guy's fantastic. The interaction that I've had with him on a personal level, on a professional level here with regard to the school and so forth is just great. And there's no doubting for a moment his love, his full-scale commitment to PVCA, all of what it's all about. And I referred to Laura as our first lady, and this being the first family of PVCA. Tim and Laura, it's great that Tim is here and has been since, I believe, 1980, and his wife is right by his side, and, full-time. They've got 5 kids, and the kids are, whether even before they're in school, she's here and attending to what she does so well. Just a pleasant, courteous, gracious smile as either you take her phone call, or if you call in, or if you greet her, she greets you rather when you come in. So 2 people that love the Lord, fully committed, to what this school is all about. Part of me wants to say, I don't know how we would have done it without them, but of course the Lord will provide. But I'm just so grateful that Tim has been a good personal friend, so helpful to me in my personal life and professionally as well. I have the greatest respect for him.
So you were a parent here first, and then could you tell me a little bit about when you were invited to be on the board and what your experience has been?
So actually, I invited myself.
Of course.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I don't know how many do, but I did. And I just offered if they were interested, I would be interested myself. And so maybe a year or so later, it was in 1990 that I became a board member. So it's been great to be involved, to be a part of these changes that we see developing, to be closer to the inner workings of the school, to follow it as our kids have been in the school, and now many years beyond when they've been in the school, to see and to know that the school's going in the right direction.
It's almost 32 years
Yeah.
on the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. How have you seen God provide during those years? Do you have any specific memories?
Well, I would say one big thing, I know you're going to have later an interview with Bill Klaus. So Bill Klaus in 1990, I believe it was, said, we need to have prayer meetings. Prayer meetings because there were times when we speculated as to whether or not we would have enough money to pay the bill, as in tuition, as in, that's for the parents to pay tuitions, but for the school to pay salaries and the ongoing expenses that we have. So we started that in, I believe it was 1990, and since then, to my knowledge, we have not missed a payroll. So talk about faithfulness, how the Lord provided. And I believe you're going to hear some of these stories here later in the day, how when things were down and out and somewhat desperate, you could say, a mailman came having forgotten about another delivery that he had to make. And it was just another example of the Lord's blessing with money that was needed, and it was almost the exact amount that was in the envelope that was provided, a gift from an inheritance. So it was indeed just a continuing example of God's faithfulness to PVCA.
You know, I love hearing those.
We celebrated our 25th anniversary. So I was involved with that, and so we had a speaker coming into the school, Cal Thomas, a reporter, national reporter, a Christian reporter. And so we said, well, you know, we'd like to get ballpoint pens for everyone who's attended. They could take notes and so forth. So we arranged for that. I forgot who was the person who did that, but they came back and said, well, you know, the bill per pen was a certain amount, but they said, well, you know, there's a discount. No kidding. Have they ever done that before? No. We don't know how this came to be, but this is a first-time discount that you folks are going to be the beneficiaries of. So thus we had it. The cost was less, and once again, the Lord provided. And I could see that directly. I know Mr. Duff has many stories that he can share with you, but that was one that I was directly a part of, and it was very comforting, reassuring.
But why choose Pioneer Valley Christian Academy? What could you say to those watching?
Sure. Well, for me, it's a hierarchy of values. What matters most? What would God want me to do most with the money that He's blessed me with? I would say it's to do things, contribute to things, be a part of things that further His kingdom. And I'm telling you, what I've experienced, this school has blessed me, our family, our kids. And that's just not for here during this lifetime, but for eternity's sake. So when I contemplate that, I'm pleased, delighted to be able to say, this is something that I believe in, that I choose to be a part of. Now, I'm contributing to a few other things here today as well, outside of our school, but not to the level that I am with our school, because again, there's a hierarchy of values for me where some things matter more than others. And for me, that's where PVCA lines up. Because I do believe this place isn't perfect. There's things that we can and should be doing even better than we are, no doubt. But we're working on them. And this is for God's glory that we do this, and it doesn't get any better than that.